Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Connect and Share with us at Outdoors New South Wales and ACT. I'm Laurie Modde, joining you this last Friday before Anzac Day. And I just wanted to acknowledge Anzac Day, a very important day in our calendar. This Sunday, along with every Australian, we gather to remember those who served to defend Australia. We do this because it's the anniversary of the day when Australia and New Zealand soldiers landed on the beach of Gallipoli in Turkey on the 25th of April 1915. This was the first major military campaign for soldiers from Australia and New Zealand. Since then, the 25th of April has been known as Anzac Day, and Anzac comes from the name Australia and New Zealand Army Corps. It was shortened to Anzac in 1915. Since then, when Australians and New Zealanders have served together, they've often been known as Anzacs. At Gallipoli, Australians and New Zealanders served with soldiers from other nations, including England, France, and India. The Australians at Gallipoli came from all sorts of backgrounds, but they shared the terrible experience of war. Ever since then, for more than 100 years, the men and women in our Navy, Army, and Air Force have honoured the memory of our original Anzacs. On Anzac Day, there are many ways to honour people who have served and those who continue to serve in the Australian Armed Forces. We can also wear a sprig of rosemary as a symbol of remembrance. And the last post was played in army camps to announce the end of day at a time when soldiers should be resting. These days, we play the last post for those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. It means they have done their duty and are now at rest. So can I ask, can we have a minute's silence just to remember our fallen? Thank you, everyone. And what we might do now is kick off the rest of our morning with our presentations. So may I also acknowledge our traditional owners on the land of which we come from you today and that you're joining us on, and pay my respects to all elders past, present and emerging that we work with on the lands that we treasure to do the activities that we love doing. A quick update for you on lots of different things, but the first one I wanted to update you on was Time to Act in the ACT PR campaign, which is in its last stage of really getting that momentum going. A lot of work has been done behind the scenes, and now we're starting to work with some key media and key influencers to really get some traction in promoting our outdoor experiences in the ACT. Thank you to our partners who are on board for this important activity, and welcome to a few newbies from ACT as well who joined us for this campaign and ongoing, which is great to see. So the campaign, this is a new area for me, but an area that I think is growing with momentum, and that is the influencer market, and also getting in touch with a lot of the social media environments and really spreading the word about what there is to see and do. So yeah, great traction with some of our influencers. Here's a bit of an idea on who we're working with, and we've also got a massive campaign up around the North Shore Mums and a competition that'll be run to get some traction again and building awareness for our activities. You might have seen in our own social media, and also it was great to be interviewed on 2ST Radio and a few other medias that have contacted us about our success with the Resilience New South Wales grant. This is a program that's in partnership with the federal government and state government to look at the bushfire affected regions and building resilience in the communities. In partnership with the Office of Sport and Department of Education, we put in an application to work with the kids in those areas that have been hard hit by the bushfires to build them in their skills and resilience by connecting them with outdoor and active recreation. So we're very lucky to be announced as one of the grant winners of that program, and we look forward to bringing more content on this as it comes about. But just here's a quick snapshot for you. We're aiming to get to 1,900 kids through the program. It's in 2 different areas. First area is Greater Sydney and the Hunter area, and I'll go through some of the identified areas within that region in a minute, and Northern New South Wales. So that is pretty much everything north of Newcastle. And then it's going to commence in the second half of this year. Once we get all the paperwork sorted and the committee off and running, we'll be out with more news on it to get the industry involved. But it's starting to commence basically in the second half of this year. The idea is to have it concluded by December 22. But the program is really aimed to get these people in touch with active recreation so it becomes part of their ongoing lifestyle and commitment to active rec. The areas that we've identified for the north are the Clarence Valley, the Kempsey Shire, Mid Coast Council, Nambucca, Port Macquarie and Tweed Shire. So if you're operating in those areas, you certainly will be hearing from us soon about how we can get the industry involved. And then the Blue Mountains and, the Greater Sydney and Hunter area, the areas are the Blue Mountains Lithgow region, Dungog Shire, Hawkesbury Shire, Oberon, Lake Macquarie and Singleton. So again, if you're in those areas, make sure you keep an eye on all our newsletters as they come out with more news on what you can do and get involved in. The OCA Summit is not far away, and as we've discussed in several Connect and Shares, this is stage 1 of a national collaboration to try to improve the outdoor industry for all. So for those that have been selected and invited, please, 1, make sure you confirm your attendance, because if you cannot attend, we'll make sure that seat is filled by someone else. The second part is that OCA, the guys and myself and are trying to finalise a survey that will come to you very soon that will help articulate some of the discussion for the day and really get the priorities in order of what we need to cover. So if you are one of those people that is coming along, please make sure you keep an eye when that survey comes out and get your content in there. And then the third thing is to make sure you attend, and the Zoom link will be sent out to you after the completion of the survey. I think generically I'd like to hear from anyone that potentially is not on that invite list at the moment to hear from, to talk to me about what they see as the opportunity of this whole collaboration for the sector, so that when we get to stage 2 and further on, we are engaging with all of the sector quite broadly. Coming up, we've got a lot of different events coming up, as you've seen on our membership newsletters. The Connect and Shares. Today, it's a bit of a mix of updates, as well as we've got Nicole from Take 3 from the Sea to tell us more about the survey that was in the membership newsletter last week. And then next week, if you're interested in the AAAS audits, we're going to have the 3 auditors online, so you can ask them questions direct if you're thinking about going down that track. And we've also got the NOIC agenda being set at the moment, so we won't be covering NOIC today. It was on the agenda to be discussed today, but we've had a flurry of last-minute abstracts that have come in, so the agenda is not quite finalised yet. So when that is, we'll bring that to a Connect and Share. Another of the Connect and Share topics is around traineeships, and it's been an ongoing discussion with many of you around your recruitment and some challenges that you're having getting people into the jobs that you have on offer. And traineeships is certainly one of those areas that I'm hearing that is not well utilised across our sector. So we're going to help connect you with some key people that can help drive that for you and give you that opportunity. We've also got a session coming up on applying for grants. What are the do's and don'ts, and what can you apply for? Even if you are a for-profit business, there are grants out there, of course, for you as well. So we'll be covering that in a future session. And we'll also be giving you an update on the summit post the event, and give a real good summary of what was discussed at that. So that will be obviously after the summit that will occur. So it'll be early June. You'll see that one pop up. In May, it's a very busy month. I've worked out that I'm probably not going to be spending too much time in my own house. There's quite a lot of events going on, but really important stuff. So Parks and Leisure, New South Wales, Queensland and ACT conference is being held in in Coffs Harbour. So that is a good one if you're in that active rec sense and need to liaise with councils. That's a really good conference. The next one is the Local Government Destination Visitor Economy Conference. So this is if you are a tourism operator. This is a good one to network again with some of the local councils and other operators in the tourism industry. And then there's the Outdoor Retailers Exhibition, which starts at the end of May and goes through the 1st of June. So that's a great opportunity to look at your suppliers and some of the new products that are out for our industry. And then there's a bit of gap. We don't do too much in winter by the looks of it, but then September we've got our National Outdoor Education Conference in Leura, which no doubt you've heard way too much from, but you'll hear me more on that as we get closer. And we also have our own AGM. So there'll be some calls for board members, of course, as we normally do in the build up to that. But also we'll be delighted to invite everyone to that, being actually at Leura just before the NOAC conference. So great opportunity to come to that if you're attending NOAC as well. And then in October, there's the National Parks and Leisure Australia Conference. So lots of different events. It seems that everything's back to a full steam ahead as far as conferences is concerned. So that's great news. And just a final reminder that the abstracts for NOAC close tomorrow. So if you've got a last minute idea or something you want to share with the attendees of National Outdoor Education Conference, you must get in by tomorrow. So make sure you go to that website, take a photo of that QR code, and that will link you straight through. Mountain Bike Committee, awesome stuff. We've actually had our first meeting and there's some great agenda items that have been discussed. You can see them on your screen now. We're trying to now prioritise what issues we do look at and in what time frame we do look at them. But if anyone has anything else that you do not see on the screen here that you feel is an opportunity or an issue that the mountain bike community have, please make sure you let us know so we can plug that into the subcommittee's thinking and have it as a discussion item. But so far, we've identified that trail development and maintenance is an ongoing challenge. Training, accredited versus non-accredited training in mountain biking. Clubs, mountain bike clubs and their activities, possible ramifications of reputations or also going it alone and doing their own thing, potentially not in cohesion with landholders and land managers. Injuries and incident information. There's no sort of system or access to incident information on a regular basis. E-bikes, which is a growing trend, and the access for them. Statewide coordination of planning and promotion of trails and inclusion and access issues. So lots of things on the agenda. As I say, now the challenge is for them to prioritise those and work through them. But if there's anything else that you do not see there that are really important for the mountain biking community, please let us know. As I've said the last couple of weeks, we're also dealing with the staffing issues and retention issues in our workforce. So if you've got some case studies that are real at the moment, I really need to hear from you, because it's building what we have is a knowledge base and working with the politicians and also the leaders of our communities on these issues. So we need to have that data to help us transition that conversation into action. There's a new grant that's been announced, and this is great for schools. So as many of you, of our members are schools, this is a great one. And it offers $5,000 to anyone that has been flood affected to replace equipment or facilities that have been damaged by the floods. So if you are a school and you could do with an extra 5,000, you do not have to have a Commonwealth Bank account. But the Commonwealth Bank are offering this fund. So the link is just there if you wanted to jump on and apply for that, or if you're a member of a PNC yourself, great idea to get in and get that equipment recovered. Annual membership review survey. Thank you so much to everyone who's already filled this out. You will be receiving your strategic plan in the mail very soon. And in that, you'll also have a request to fill out that survey as well. But if you can actually do this for us, it gives us a really good insight into what you're looking for from us, being your peak body for the outdoor industry, and that we can work towards improving a lot of the activities that we do for our members. So it's a really important thing that we rely on you to tell us, and so we can improve for the future. And that comes to the last point, which is we have Nicole with us today, who's from Take 3 for the Sea, who do amazing work in our environment protection. So I talked a little bit on this last week, but you know what? I can't do it as well as you can, Nicole. So I'm going to hand over to you, and I'll let you take us through where you're up to with this project.
Thanks so much, Laurie. Thanks for having me back. I was on this call, I think about a month or two ago, introducing the First Wave project. So as a little bit of an update from Take 3, we were the lucky recipients of a grant from the EPA as part of the, let me get the wording right, as part of the local litter grant scheme. We are working with National Parks and Wildlife Services and Outdoors New South Wales and ACT to work directly with the tourism industry to find ways to tackle litter in our parks and our community spaces. So the first part of our work under this program is a survey which Laurie sent out last week in the newsletter through Outdoors New South Wales and ACT. What we're doing with this newsletter is gathering information directly from the tourism industry in New South Wales to hear what's happening on the ground, what some of your pain points are when it comes to litter and waste, and what is actually happening already in terms of talking to your customers and working with your communities around removing litter and preventing it at the source. So I'm on today really as a bit of a call to action. And thank you to those who have filled out the survey for us. If you haven't yet, there's still time. It takes less than 5 minutes. It's really quick, and it just will give us some valuable information about what's happening. So from there, once we've closed the survey, which we're looking to close next week, we're going to go away and identify 2 areas within New South Wales to really focus on. So we're going to look at an area on a national park and an area off a national park, and work with tourism providers in both of those areas to do a before, if you like, and an after. And working together, we'll come up with some strategies to reduce litter and also stop it at the source, as I said. So to do that, we've got the survey, then we'll have a workshop, it'll be held online, and it'll just be an opportunity to touch base, go through survey results, and think and talk about ways that we might be able to help. And then from there, we will be taking all that feedback. We'll be putting together a toolkit, which we're going to hand over to you guys, to tourism, for anybody who wants some help, wants to get on board, to use in talking to customers, talking to communities, talking to other stakeholders. So that's it, really. I think, Laurie, you're going to send out the survey link again, is that yes. Right?
Yep, absolutely. And Nicole, can I ask, what do you expect that toolkit to look like? Have you got a bit of an idea about what the guys might be receiving as far as, that support?
Yeah, look, we initially, some of the survey results that we're getting back are saying you're keen for help around messaging when it comes to talking to customers. So that might be some tools around social media, email collateral, things like posters or talking points when it comes to talking to people. That's one piece. We're looking at things, putting together connections, so ways you can connect to other organisations who are, like, if you are collecting litter, for example, which the survey is showing that a lot of people already are, for just as a matter of course in business, how you can connect with other businesses that get that data and use it elsewhere. There might be opportunities to connect with the recycle schemes. We're not exactly sure what will be in that. There's also some
like the survey to a large.
Yeah, that's right. But the EPA have got some great tools and resources as well, which we'll be sharing. So basically, we want to. There's a lot out there, and we want to hear what's going to be useful and what's not going to be useful, I guess. So it might
eventually evolve into tangible assets as well. Like, if they are of a hiking nature, the bags that they could take with them, that they could put rubbish in, that type of thing. Is that what you're expecting as well? Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is where you, if you want to order some more bags, here's where you get them from.
Yeah.
Some links and material.
Yeah, awesome. I think the main thing here is that we're all working towards one common goal, which is to protect our environment so that we can continue using it for what we use it for.
Absolutely. Yeah. Does that give you a good overview? Yeah.
I think that's great. So what we'll do, not only will be sending the link to this recording for those that missed it today, but also we'll send a reminder out, because it'd be great to really understand what's going to support them in being better for the environment long term.
100%. Yeah,
fabulous. Thanks for joining us, Nicole. Yeah, no worries. Right. Guys, because we don't have the NOAC topic today, I just thought I'd open it up. If anyone's got any things that they want to discuss, or got some burning issues, now's the time to bring it forward. And if you feel that you want to do it outside of recording, just let us know, and we'll turn off the recording and address it. So I'm led by you for the next half hour, or you're going to have a half hour early mark.
No, not from me.
Nothing, Mark? Okay, no worries. Brendan, anything? Brendan's gone to get a coffee. No.
There we go. No, I already have my coffee.
Okay. Awesome.
Not particularly. I wasn't expecting this, but if someone else takes some time, I'm sure I could come up with something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. Stuart, how are you going? Anything that's burning on your end?
As I find the unmute button.
It's always handy.
Common problem. No, nothing from. No, nothing really burning at this point.
I do have a question for you, though. How is the recruitment of volunteers going? Because obviously I'm knee deep in recruitment of employees, but it's one thing that I keep thinking: are we in the same sort of predicament with our volunteers at the moment?
It's a hard thing. It's always hard to find volunteers because no one wants, because they're all saying they're all too busy. But that's a common thing. It's not a special COVID problem. No. It's been there for donkeys.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of how keen they are to become a volunteer and whatever they want to be volunteering in. So there's a few issues with that. We have as scouts that we seem to attract a lot of people,
right,
each year, but 80% of those disappear the next year.
Right. So
the retention is not there, and there's a few reasons why the retention is not so good. Especially for the kids, it comes down to programming most often. So they leave because they're either bored at that group and they're not having good programming, or
Okay.
there might be another underlying issue that may be forcing them to leave that's not been addressed.
Okay. And is that is that being addressed at the larger level, or is that something that's a challenge?
It's a challenge for everything, because even when they say we're leaving, you ring them up and they don't necessarily tell you why they're leaving, they're just leaving.
Yeah.
It's very hard to try to address the problem when they don't tell you why they're leaving. It could be a monetary thing, it could be something that they found something else to go to, but they don't necessarily say why they're leaving. They just say, oh, because, and well, we can't address that necessarily, but when it comes down to something like bullying or something like that, then we can address it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's interesting. No, thank you for sharing that. I was really keen to know, because we're just so heavily entrenched in trying to look at this recruitment issues that we're having. I just
well, everyone's having similar issues, but whether it's advertised correctly and people aren't seeing it in the right space, not really sure. From the other side, but Scouts, we don't generally recruit people. It's all tend to be word of mouth, so maybe that's where we could improve and have something from that perspective. And probably the same thing for Guides and all the other volunteer organisations. There's probably something that's lacking.
Yes. Absolutely. And taking a leaf out of Nicole's book, understanding a lot of the knowledge behind it provides the resources that you can address. But yeah, it's hard at the size that Scouts is as well.
Yeah.
But no, point taken. I'll certainly factor that into my thinking when I'm talking to a lot of people about our issues. Thank you. Guys, well, if there's nothing else, you do actually get a 30-minute early mark today. So yeah, great.
I've sort of thought of something, Laurie. Yeah. Let me find my video. There we go. I noticed that a little while ago we had some engagement from Take 3 from the Sea. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I was just wondering about, I guess, the openness to this as a platform for other, I guess, community-driven environmental groups that are specifically associated with, I guess, the outdoors, recreation, tourism in that sort of area. I guess I'm thinking of two in particular. I've got a good friend of mine and his partner that run an organization called Outdoors People for Climate Action, I believe it is.
They've just joined us. Yes.
Oh, have they? There you go. Yeah, fantastic.
Damon.
Yeah, Damon, exactly. Oh, fantastic. So he's already been in contact with you on doing PR where it's already been done. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's a really good point. And something, I don't know, Nicole, if you can still hear us there. We'd love your thoughts on that.
Yes, still here. Well, in terms of having additional other people come.
Yeah, I think what Brendan's
yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm just saying is just bringing that into this space. I like in the last, I guess, year and a half that I've started really engaging with Outdoor New South Wales, I've seen the breadth of the audience and I guess the content that we're covering really grow, which is really exciting, from the subcommittees and the conversations that we're having, which is great. And to see Take 3 join on, and then of course Nicole, your presentation today really excites me and sort of my passion for sustainability and the environment. And I guess, can that be I guess a welcome invitation and an arm of these Connect and Shares or Outdoor New South Wales? Because I understand the advocacy is the largest intent of Outdoor New South Wales, but I suppose what I don't know, are we happy to offer our platform to that sort of?
I can speak from our perspective. It's been really beneficial having, from a not-for-profit charity wanting to connect with business. It's an awesome opportunity to get directly in front of you, because you're running businesses, you're out in front of people all the time, and it's very useful. So I can only imagine other groups would benefit from it too. So yeah, I think that's a good idea.
It makes you wonder, Nicole, because the event that I attended last year at the Central Coast when we did the cleanup, the CEO cleanup, there's a way that we could connect these groups and get some of those little pop-up type of events happening that can build more awareness of what, all of us are trying to do to then filter through to the communities in that area.
It's a great idea. I mean, we can keep sharing what we're doing. We've got another CEO cleanup coming up next month in Sydney. I guess it's about you guys picking who you want to align with, and not oversaturating, not having too many messages go out. But I think it's I think it's awesome.
Yeah. I think the biggest challenge in today's society, if I may be so frank in summarising this, is we have more not-for-profits per capita than any other decade in our history. And that's great. But what that does, it brings lots of challenges. And the fact that we're all trying to do similar things with the same amount of resources, with the same amount of funding. And, if we just collaborated more or understood that we could join more force and make more of a difference, I think that's the biggest message of this decade particularly, and trying to stop that grab for money, or can I say, frankly, grab for ego. And definitely collaborate more in that fashion.
I think those are some really good. I think those are some really good points, like Nicole, you're saying, just trying to be really mindful about it and avoid oversaturation, whether that's through oversaturation of resources or oversaturation of even messaging, because it loses its potency when that's the case. And I suppose, it's important as well, like you say, to align to the appropriate organizations that are going to be resourced, that are going to actually drive themselves, and that are going to have the right messaging and come from the right place. Noted for sure.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Brendan. Really appreciate it. And for the last 25 minutes, I think Brendan can read us The Very Sleepy Bear.
I had to find a power cord, and I'm currently sitting in my son's nursery. Yeah.
Love it.
I was wondering what you could see behind me. Yeah.
Right, he's either at the school in a library, or no, that definitely looks like a cot room.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Awesome. No, great to have you. And thanks for that comment. Thanks, guys, for joining us this morning. A short and sweet one, but really important stuff. And I think, regardless of how many people attend these events, it's really important these conversations continue to occur. And that's why we record them and put them on YouTube, so you all can catch up on the sessions. But there'll be an email coming out to you all with this recording, and also the survey from Take 3 for the Sea. Really important to get involved. So thank you all. Have a great weekend and a great week next week. And we'll see you for the AAAS audit session on Friday, the 30th of May. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.